What's up, guys? Back with another educational video, and this week we're talking about growth hormone. Now, I got the inspiration for this from a post on YouTube that was done by Dr. Eric Berg, who is a chiropractor who makes nutrition videos. Berg made a video about building muscle, and in it he talks about how if you're going to be low carb and build muscle, that fasting is a good idea because of the increase in growth hormone from fasting. I see this argument made a lot by people who like intermittent fasting. They say, well, you don't have to, you can actually build more muscle or just as much muscle on intermittent fasting because you have an increase in growth hormone when you fast. I did a video about intermittent fasting and a recent randomized control trial that showed actually more lean body mass loss doing intermittent fasting than doing just regular dieting, almost twice as much lean body mass loss. So make sure you guys check that out. I think it's important to understand that there's a lot of myths that surround growth hormone. When I was in graduate school, I actually started looking into this a little bit more because I read a paper that mentioned that growth hormone in adults was not anabolic to skeletal muscle. And it referenced several studies. And I thought, well, that can't be right. Growth hormone is obviously anabolic. I mean, it's called growth hormone, duh. And so I started looking up these studies, and what you see in these studies, I actually wrote a big article on Biolayne.com called Growth Hormone, Great Expectations, and I'll put the link in the description. Growth hormone, first off, in the physiological range, definitely not anabolic, okay? So there's a big difference between a physiological increase in growth hormone versus injecting it. There's a huge difference. But even in studies where they inject growth hormone, what they see is that people's lean body mass increases. And people think that lean body mass is the same thing as muscle mass. Those are not the same things. Lean body mass is all non-fat tissues: bone, skin, connective tissue, organs, all that stuff. What they find is that growth hormone increases total body water significantly, which total body water shows up as lean body mass on a DEXA scan. It also increases connective tissue mass, but it does not seem to increase skeletal muscle mass, at least not in the studies at the doses they're given. And again, these are super physiological doses. It's not from fasting, okay? So if anything was going to be anabolic to skeletal muscle, it would be this. But when they look at muscle cross-sectional area, they simply do not see hypertrophy from growth hormone administration. So that's with exogenous growth hormone. That's injecting large amounts of growth hormone. So the idea that fasting is going to give you a boost of growth hormone that's going to be anabolic, that is not supported by any research that exists. I'll say it again. The idea that fasting is anabolic because it increases growth hormone is not supported by any scientific literature. People say, well, then why would growth hormone increase? What's the point of growth hormone? Well, growth hormone does increase lipolysis, and it increases as fuel mobilization. So when you fast, your body has to make energy from somewhere. So growth hormone is secreted to help mobilize fuel. Also happens in the calorie deficit. But let's just think about this for a moment. Building tissue is an energetically expensive process. It requires energy, aka ATP. Would it make sense when you are fasting, which is going to be sensed as, controlled starvation, would it make sense during a famine to increase energy output and build more tissue when it means that you would actually accelerate death from starvation? It doesn't even make sense from a teleological perspective. So the claim that intermittent fasting is either as anabolic or more anabolic than eating because it increases growth hormone is a complete fallacy, not supported by any research, and it's not even supported by the research where they inject large amounts of growth hormone. Like I said, if you guys want to check me, you can check my references, you can check out the article, and I'm sure you will give me your feedback in the comments.